very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So today's topic of our forum is the uprising concern on COVID-19. So may I present our first speaker, L. He's an officer from Japanese Embassy.
Hello.
Our second speaker, Din. He's a social media expert.
Hello everyone.
Our third speaker, Wani. She's a representative student from Malaysia. Our fourth speaker, Keziah. She's focusing on crow supplies, which is math. Our fifth speaker, Charania. She's a medical researcher. She will be focusing more on healthcare workers. And our sixth speaker, Jacqueline. She's a health officer. And our last speaker, Fatih. She is an economist from UM. So, the first speaker, Al, would you like to elaborate on your points or arguments on the topic?
Thank you. So I am a representative from Japanese Embassy. In Japan, we have the Yomiuri, which is a global newspaper. Yomiuri stated that Japan will ban any South Koreans or Chinese to come to Japan. This is because of the COVID-19. COVID-19, as we know, is a deadly disease and it spread widely. Okay? This thing is global, and so that the Japanese newspaper decided to send all the news, to globalize the news, especially to China and South Korea. This is because China and South Korea is believed to be the source of COVID-19. All patients in Japan, currently we have 95,000 infected and 3.2 thousand died in over 80 countries. In Japan only, we have 1,000 infected. So all the patients will be quarantined for 2 weeks at any medical facilities or other facilities that is suitable. This is to limit contact to the patient and prevent spread. Chinese and Korean were asked to not come to Japan. If they try to come, we will suspend their visas and they cannot come to Japan again. We shut down two main airports that transports the people from South Korea and China, which is the Kansai Airport and Narita Airport. They will be limited until COVID-19 will slow down. And then not only airport, the ships will be suspended. We decided on the ships to be suspended because recently in Japan there was a cruise ship that was infested with people that was infected by the COVID-19. Just on that cruise ship alone, it reaches 700 people that contacted the disease. So we have to quarantine the ship, all the patients from the ship, and also we have to suspend all future ships. And then in Japan, we have 6 domestic deaths, which is sad, and 6 from the ship. The cruise ship alone has 6 deaths also. So with all this, the school and events will be closed for 2 months to prevent further disease spread. This is regretful because all football matches and sumo bouts and music concerts cannot be done. And finally, we already banned 2 provinces and 2 parts from South Korea and China. And this move is not just from us. It's South Korea also done this, Iran also, and Italy. I trust everyone already heard about Italy was there. And that's all. I think the condition is too worse. People in Southeast Asia need to be cautious.
Thank you so much for our first speaker, Al, which is an officer from the Japanese Embassy. So I would like to continue with the second speaker, Din. Would you like to elaborate your points on our topic today?
Okay, so for the uprising case of coronavirus, As a social media expert, there are many cases of, we can call it as cyberbullying against people that have coronavirus. So what I will focus on is about social media, such as Twitter. We'll start banning posts that dehumanize people in connection with the diseases. They will start to apply a new policy that banning posts that dehumanize people on the basis of age, disability, or disease. So through a phone interview with Gerald Patterson, Twitter's head of safety policy, I quoted what he said. We couldn't have predicted that this would have happened in terms of the coronavirus. So this policy change was actually not a reaction to the outbreak of the virus, which causes the respiratory disease of COVID-19, but was part of his continual effort to update rules against hateful conduct. So these three new categories will be added because it's really sad how we are being so racist to the people that have coronavirus, to the Chinese people, to the people in China, because Reuters, as you might have heard about it, a recent search for derogatory terms linked to the virus on Twitter found posts that called Chinese people subhuman or likened them to the like of animals. It's not appropriate for us to call human as animals just because they have disease. So that's what I'm trying to elaborate here. So what Twitter is doing right now is really good, because cyberbullying against people that have disease is not okay. It's definitely not okay. No one has to have the coronavirus. And as a result of the policy change, Twitter said it had taken action on 584,429 unique accounts for hateful conduct violations. Twitter also announced on Wednesday, this policy change was actually decided on Friday, 6 months, 2002.
30 seconds more for your
Okay, so on Wednesday, it was testing. We will also try to do 24 hours content disappearing, similar to feature of Facebook and Instagram. So that's all.
Thank you so much for the clear elaboration by our second speaker. As I would like to remind again, we have 3 minutes for each speaker to elaborate your points. So let's keep that in mind. So let's continue with our third speaker, Wani, a representative student from Malaysia. Would you like to elaborate your points?
Yes, okay, so I'll be presenting the students. On a worldwide scale, there are 13 countries that have already shut down their schools, which affected 290.5 million students. But for us, Malaysia is not included. No schools are being shut down, but precautions are being taken. Schools are warning students and parents to take precautions, to wear masks, sanitizers. So as a student for me, what the government or the schools can do is provide hand sanitizers and masks for the students, for the teachers, because if we go to the pharmacies or any store, everything is sold out, everything is clear, the racks are clear. So the government should help out the students and the teachers by providing them. And for me, for the schools in the Sepang area, the Putrajaya area, the areas that are like prone to the virus, which the the people who infected were there, should the schools around there should be shut down to prevent from the virus spreading. But to replace that, online classes should be conducted. Like, all the students nowadays, they have access to the internet, so like they don't have to go to school, they don't have to gather with everyone and take the risk. The teachers can conduct online classes. Even for us online university students, our lecturers can have online classes. Other than that, school events also should postpone, like any school events that requires public gathering, because the first step, the best step is to avoid the crowd, because through the crowd you can infect so many people, you can get infected so easily, and that's how super spread can start. Super spread is when you get the virus but you don't know where it came from. So it's best that we avoid that. And alhamdulillah, in Malaysia, we're still in that state. Like, we know who is infected by whom, where they got the virus and all that. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much for our third speaker, Wani. Now let's continue with our fourth speaker, Keziah. Would you like to elaborate your points?
Alright, first of all, thank you very much for having me on behalf of Pro Supplies. So basically, Pro Supplies, what we do is we supply masks internationally, and yeah, we are a global company, so we supply masks internationally. So I'm called here to discuss on the face mask supplies that are running out rapidly in Malaysia. So what I can say about this is, firstly, I would like to speak to everyone in Malaysia, the citizens in Malaysia, that you have to trust our government, you have to trust our healthcare system, because in Malaysia, the coronavirus case is very controlled so far. So I don't think there is a need for everybody to be panicked and stuff like that. And I also would like to stress that the mask supplies, basically those who are infected or those who are weak, the immune system that are weak, those are the person that needs the mask, basically. So when we see this on the worldwide stage, our company, we import the masks basically from China, because China, basically they manufacture 50% of the mask supplies in the world. So when China's supplies are cut out, we are facing shortage in masks, where worldwide, the entire world is facing the same problem. Even the general surgeon from a US hospital is urging customers to stop buying mask supplies, because why? Medical officers have no mask supplies. There are also cases that citizens are stealing mask supplies from the hospital. So as a manufacturer, I would like to stress that I don't think it's logic for house or for customers to hoard the supplies. We have to think of everyone else. Yeah, that's what I would like to say, because as manufacturers, we are doing the best that we can to supply everybody with the mask supplies, so that we can prevent anyone else from getting this virus. But I think it's up to the consumers to think of everyone else and to be rational in this kind of situation, because this is like a pandemic. Everybody's panicked and stuff like that, but we should also be rational at times like this. We should think. That's all for me.
Thank you so much for our fourth speaker on the clear elaborations on major concerns of decrease on mask supplies. So let's continue with our fifth speaker, Charania, a medical researcher.
Thank you, MC. As a medical researcher, I'm focusing more on healthcare workers. As we see, the COVID-19 is spreading all over the world. So, as I'm focusing on the healthcare workers, let me say that most of the healthcare workers were affected by the virus. As example, in New York, there are 25 nurses has been affected by this virus. In Washington State, there are 3 cases, and in Northern California also same. They are tested positive. So what I can say, well, as the virus is spreading all over the world, the healthcare workers are having problems. They are attacked easily when they are treating the patients. So it is important for us as a medical researcher, it is important for us to take care of the healthcare workers. If they are attacked easily, so there is no one to take care of the patients. Before this, during the SARS attack, there is also a lot of healthcare workers have been attacked and most of them died because of this disease. So we don't want this happen again. That's why we have to take care of the healthcare workers. If we are having them less, it's like if they are having shortage of that, there is impossible for us to take care of all of the patients all over the world. That's all for me.
Thank you for clear elaborations on the health workers. So let's continue with our sixth speaker, Jacqueline. Would you like to elaborate on your points?
Yes, thank you, MC. I will be giving out points from the point of view of a health officer today. So COVID-19, what is actually COVID-19? It's a newly found deadly disease, and how does it spread? The symptoms may appear several days after exposure, but the most common symptoms, are cough, fever, and shortness of breath. The virus is primarily spread by respiratory droplets transmitted via close contact. That means, in a layman word, if you cough 5 meters, if you cough near to someone, to an individual, and if you are suspected of coronavirus symptoms, you might infect the individual. Okay, so the real question here is, should you wear face mask to protect yourself from the virus even if you're not sick? I will have to credit our fourth speaker for speaking up of the our face mask lack of supplies. Yes, thank you very much. Okay, from the health officer point of view, we think that if you are not infected, you should not be too worried, and you should not be selfish to buy all the face masks in this world, because there are people who in need of those face masks. The transmission itself is, the fourth speaker herself has stated that in Malaysia, the virus itself is very controlled. So there's no point of being super panicked due to this virus attack. Also, if you are healthy, there is no additional benefit to wearing mask for yourself. Because why? The mask itself is not airtight and does not necessarily prevent breathing in these viral particles, which are very tiny. So in today's discussion, I would like to stress about the precautions or the steps that we as individuals should take, and when it comes to fighting this virus infection. Firstly, we have to wash our hands frequently. Okay, thank you. We have to wash our hands frequently with soap and water, because soap and water can clean our hands better than hand sanitizer. And the second thing is avoid touching our eyes, nose, and mouth. Last but not least, practice cough etiquette. If you want to cough, please flex your elbow with a tissue and discard the tissue immediately to the trash can. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for our sixth speaker on your elaborations on precautions on COVID-19. Okay, for our last speaker, would you like to elaborate your point?
Thank you, MC. From the point of view of an economist, I would like to highlight of what's happening currently. As you know, the COVID-19 is on the rise. But on top of that, we also had the change of government. and with that combination, we are very not secure and not stable currently. Investors, they are more likely to opt for neighboring countries like Vietnam and Indonesia because they are more focused on their development. COVID-19 also left very profound consequences on our healthcare and also economy. On top of that, our tourism is also not going so well because we have identified the countries that are currently high risk, so that is not going so well. So what can we do as, what can the ministry do? So first thing first, the government should provide support without bureaucratic hurdles. We should put away our own benefits and stuff. And in this current situation, rakyat should come first. We also should prepare risk mitigation strategies for schools and workplace in case they are forced to shut down. And we should also build ministers that are competent. As we all know, we had ministers that are competent before, so we can't let that happen now during this period. We should work together as a country to overcome the virus. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for our last speakers. And thank you so much for our last speaker on the elaborations for the COVID-19. So as what we have heard from all the speakers, the uprising concerns on COVID-19 is really alarming, and in terms of the mass supplies, which is the major concern, as well as what we all see that a lot of people are panicking for, I won't say for no reason, but those who aren't affected, or maybe they're staying in an area that is not affected very badly, they shouldn't be worrying on supplying all the, taking all the supplies of the mask, because we need them for those who are infected, and especially for our health workers, for the doctors, and everyone, those who work to fight this epidemic disease. So before that, I would like to ask if any of you would like to add any more points to your elaborations on COVID-19. No? So, okay, thank you. So I would like to have an open discussion. Each group may ask 2 questions for the speakers in front of you. I would like to engage in an open discussion where all of you can ask 2 questions for all of the speakers on any questions regarding COVID-19.
Krishna, my question is, now the face mask, there's a shortage in it. Can social media be a reason for the shortage? Are they the reason social media is becoming a zone to panic and create panic for buying all the face masks?
This panic, because that's the way information spreads. But sometimes we spread news that are false. So we all think that wearing masks is really crucial, when the thing is, what's more important is washing your hands frequently. Don't touch your face, your nose, and your mouth. That's it. So from your question, social media plays a role in this panic attack.
A very good question being asked by Chris. So, is there any other person who wants to ask a question for our speakers?
Okay, my name is Anissa. So, what do you think about travel bans? Is it really working in preventing this epidemic?
Our minister?
To answer your question, I think yes, a travel ban is effective because from travel bans we would be able to prevent people from traveling to places and spreading the virus. So yes, I think it does work.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Sam. I like to ask about Brazilian manufacturer. You guys make up masks which is like different styles. There's like reusable, washable, different sizes, and what's the difference between all of it? Can it really help those one who is suffering and also preventing?
Our fourth speaker, would you like to answer the question?
That's a very good question, although you can get this information on the internet. But let me explain, it's okay. So when we talk about this pandemic, we usually closely relate it to the surgical mask and also the N95 mask. So basically, these two masks is the one that the one that customers should look out to buy. But nowadays, with the mask supplies quickly running out, although we supply the stores in the morning and it just clears out by afternoon, customers resort to some other types of masks that are not fully, can help in preventing this disease. So your question was the uses of the mask, right? So I'm going to focus on the masks that really helps to prevent this disease, which is the usual surgical mask and the N95 mask. Although, like what the health officer stressed just now, that those who are not actually, infected, they are, how do I put this in words? Those who are not really infected, I don't think it's really necessary for you to use or hoard the mask supplies. If you want to use the mask supplies, the best is to use the N95 or the surgical mask. But I think those who are not fully infected, I think you can resort to washing your hands, and then if you think your hands are unclean, you should not touch your hand sanitizers. And then if you think your hands are unclean, you should not touch your mouth or your nose or your face. But as for her question just now, the uses of the mask, the one that can help, yeah, the sizes, the one that
the shapes, the reusable, the washable, and all that.
I think the best one to use to prevent this disease would be the N95 and surgical mask, and you have to dispose of it once you have done wearing it for once. It's just a one-time use thing. You don't reuse it. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Anybody would like to add on that?
Okay, thank you for the great response for the questions on masks. So I think in conclusion that what we can conclude from COVID-19 is that I think everyone should be taking precautions, should be aware on the precautions that we should be taking. So washing your hands, maybe put on a mask. But if you're not affected, like what the fourth speaker has mentioned before, if you're not affected or you're in an area that is not highly affected by the people who is getting the disease, you don't have to worry too much on it. Take the major precautions that you should take. Wash your hands. Wash your hands frequently, and then make sure that you don't touch your face if possible. You don't touch your face when your hands are dirty. Even though you think that your hands is clean, you don't touch anything, what you need to do is that wash your hands frequently and take the major precautions. And to me, I think that the ban, the travel ban for the citizens, I think that wouldn't be unnecessary for countries like Malaysia, Singapore. I don't think it's necessary for us to actually ban the citizens from going out or coming in. But to those citizens from the highly infected countries such as China, Italy, Korea, those are the countries that I think we should be considering maybe do a travel ban on the people who are from the country themselves. And is there any other points that you'd like to add?
But I think that if we do not do the travel ban, like you said earlier, I think it's up to the government to tighten our health security, like for example,
Yes.
set up health booths in airports, do a quick checkup so that the citizens is safe, because that's what we're trying to prioritize here.
Yes, and social media. So thank you very much for this forum, and let's end.